everyone for coming to our second story night and our 1-year anniversary of you can see all 12 of our events up there. So thank you. A lot of you have been there since day one, so we appreciate it. Tonight we're gonna do some poems and improvised music, and I think a couple songs that...
Yeah, we plan on doing one song by me and one song by Will.
Yeah, so just maybe in the middle or
double,
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for coming and we'll get started.
Thanks for squeezing in this tiny living room.
Thanks for being cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so the poem I'll be reading is called Tulip, and it's spring themed. I started writing it last spring, and then I didn't have an ending, and then this event forced me to come up with the ending, so hope you enjoy it. To live inside a tulip, cocooned by candy pink petals, with walls soft like a cat's ear, and a fresh, sweet aroma that invites bees to bumble down a small chimney where they greet me. Stay for a drink, then take a short nap, and when it's time to go, they don their coat of yellow dust that sticks to their fur like powdered sugar, and slurp one last sip of nectar before they buzz away. When it rains, the stem bows at its knees, and my pink house sways and tilts. The tiny furniture slides to one side, and my chimney becomes a little window where I can watch the sky cry, peering at passerbys, holding huge plastic tulips above their heads, but their socks grow soggy as they slosh about, while I stay snug and warm, sipping honey tea inside a pink tulip. After 2 weeks, my petal walls begin to fall, one panel at a time. The bees come by less often, the nectar grows stale, and there is no more honey tea. So when it rains, I huddle below one single hardly shields me from the sky's inexorable despair. And then one day the sky lets out an exasperated sigh, and a giant gust of wind knocks me off the lifeless, limp stem. And there is nothing left to cling to except my own arms. So I fly across the pensive sky, who watches me tumble and somersaults my way through the air, and then land in a heap of earth, of dead leaves and mud and coagulated creatures, of worms and slugs. I blink, frozen in place, fear descending to my gut as a slug slinks toward me, leaving a trail of slime and sludge. But as it approaches, its antenna twitch knowingly, like a wet-nosed dog sniffs an outstretched hand. He has no arms with which to welcome me, but he makes room inside his leafy cave, and he offers me beetroot tea, which we sip as we chuckle surreptitiously at the soggy-socked puddle jumpers and stay snug as slugs in our little brown cocoon. So just to introduce the band, we have Hermes Luc on piano. We have Ruff on violin. And Markey on drums.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
I think we're gonna start with Anna, right?
Anna?
Okay, I can start with some context. I don't have a name for him,
It's okay.
but maybe you guys can help me come up with it after. Okay, so I currently live in Brooklyn, but when I first moved to the city, I lived in Manhattan on the Upper West Side, and I was babysitting on the weekend during the springtime in Harlem, right on the edge of the park. And the baby was asleep, and I was trying to busy myself or like relax after that happened. So this is where, when the theme was bloom, I was trying to think of a memorable New York spring moment. Ready? At the edge of the park, lying on a corduroy couch, windows open, soft breeze, eyes closed, in spring. Birds chirping. Sound of my breath. I hear the sea train coming. Going. Slowly fading away. I'm sinking into sleep. My thoughts slow. And these movements, my breath. The train. Sink. I see the city, alive, a body, the subway lines, the streets, veins, arteries, blood moving, carrying nutrients, pumping people. Up and down. Where they need to be. So, any thoughts on the title? You can think about it.
This is a true story. Any resemblance to characters fictitious is purely coincidental. I called my mom for the first time in a long time last week. Spring always reminds me of my mother because any flower she sees, she sticks her face in. Any plant she doesn't recognize, she says hello to and asks, "Who is this?" The question is intentional. My mom lives 2 oceans and now 2 wars away, and so coordinating times can get a little rough. And so I called her last week, my AM, her PM, and she answers on the first ring, which is very surprising. Not because she doesn't love me, but she's very busy. She answers on the first ring and says, "Hi, how are you? Listen, I want a model." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, yeah, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? I want a model. And I'm like, "We are not Spanish. We've had a streak on Duolingo for the past 134 days. And I go, "It's 7:30 in the morning. What do you mean you want to model?" And she's like, "I need a change. Can you make this happen?" I was too sleepy to process this information, and so I resorted to being cheeky instead of being sincere, because that's a little easier. And I go, "Mom, are you ready to wear like sexy clothes? Like really sexy clothes, you know?" And she goes, "Yeah, bring it on. The top, the bottom, the in-between. Just no heels." And then I really woke up because I know my mom and she was being very sincere. And now I have to turn a page. And I go, "Oh my god, this is the healthiest mental breakdown I've ever seen someone have." Growing up, my mother was not a cool mother. She was a hot mother, as in hot-tempered, but not a cool mother. And until I watched Mean Girls, I thought that was a problem. After that movie, I got a healthier understanding of what a mother should be. But back to this phone call. I asked my mom how did this idea enter her conscience? And she says, "I have been doom scrolling." Her words, not mine. And I go, "Where did you land?" She says, your best friend's Instagram. My best friend and his partner, for context, run a beautiful fashion label. The clothes are very sexy. This is the point in the story where I tell you who my mother really is, to paint a picture. My mother is a 5'4" South Indian woman with ginormous eyes, loud voice. Until she was 18, she only spoke her mother tongue. Our mother tongue is this language called Tamil. And then at 16, she paid her way to learn Hindi, both reading and writing, a different script. Then she got married to my dad and learned English within 3 weeks and can now speak the language fluently. My dad's family spoke a different language. We're from the same state. Our country is very multilingual. This is not breaking news. This is not talent. It's normal. It's our baseline. But then in quick succession, she went on to learn 4 more languages, and so my mother now speaks 7 languages. And now she's gotten a higher Duolingo score than me. This is who my mother is. She did not grow up with money or with privilege, and so she did not grow up seeing people in the sexy clothes that she now wants to wear. When I was in the 8th grade, I asked her if I could get a lip piercing. She said I'd look like a slut. No filter. She has since learned not to slut shame. My mother did not wear shorts until she was 40 years old. My mother went on her first hike with me on her 50th birthday. And so, I know that there is room to grow and room to bloom, regardless of the stage of life you're in. I called my mother because I was the one having a mental breakdown. And I mistook her fashion missions for a problem that I had to solve. After a few seconds of the conversation and me realizing that she's not the one who needed help, I asked her if she had the bandwidth to give me some advice. She was very surprised. I am not famous for asking my parents for advice. They give it so frequently and so unsolicited that at this point in our relationship, advice is contentious. But I took a deep breath and asked my mom, listen, I don't know what's happening with work. For context, I work as a trauma therapist and shit's hard right now. For anyone who's not heard the news, don't hear the news. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know if they'll renew my visa, and I don't know if I can live in this neighborhood, and I don't know if I should continue working at this office. And my mom goes, you remember when I told you that when they bury you, you do 2 things. You either rot or you bloom. And you, my child, are too alive and too insane to be rotting. So, do you want to model with me? Thank you so much.
This is going to be a shorter one, just a poem, but yeah, it has to do with the theme gloom, just because the word gloom is in here. Caesura. You stumbled off the deck 30 minutes later and sliced your knee, while he, too casual to reshirt, may have watched. But you caught yourself before checking, and with the window light to frame you, crossed the mud and gravel, face and knee blooming in concomitant redness. And in your purse dug first for the pack, then for the light, still with him. And so instead for the keys, and at the car you leaned against the night to test your breath, and maybe the shift of borders, and your breath plumed as if and perhaps you couldn't tell as you pantomimed your drag and then touched your hair and then your chest with your own hand, and inside the car you didn't bother to serve stations. Your own breathing and the turning of gravel under tires. And his house receded, and your knee throbbed and throbbed in time with your heart.
I wrote based off a poem and set the poem to text, but we're just going to play set the poem to music, and we're just going to play the music. No one's going to read the poem. But there's a poem in there.
Okay.
And it's by a pretty, famous Romani poet, Papusa, who learned how to speak Polish and write Polish against the wishes of her family, because in Romani culture, you don't write down or share or talk about what happens in their culture, and she kind of did it in secret and then was outcast from her family for the rest of her life. So that was in her 20s, and she lived to be 80 and never spoke to another Romani person in her family again. But her poems were published, and it's some of the only published texts we have from Romani people. That's changing now, but that was as of the 90s. So it's called Water That Always Wonders, and yeah.
my name is Dean. I'm a neighbor of Emily and Hermes downstairs. In fact, I was going to maybe read a story about this apartment from many, many years ago, but I'm going to say that for the next time. I have a studio that I share at TI Art Studios in Red Hook. I don't know if anybody knows that area. It's like a warehouse on the third floor. It has about 100 artists in it. A few years ago, the manager of the building kept posting signs about the clogged toilets and how to not clog the toilets. But it was more than once. It just kept, I was like, what's going on here? Why, who's clogging the toilets on purpose kind of thing? And we never found out, but I had to write the story to figure out what had happened. So this is that story, okay? I apologize in advance. It's called Clogged, a Love Story. She had a major crush on the manager at the art studio warehouse. His kind spirit, his golem-like body, those bedroom eyes. But no matter how hard she flirted with him, he never picked up on her overtures, never noticed her signals. She asked other studio mates if he was gay. He wasn't. Did he have a girlfriend or a wife? No and no. He was very single. In fact, he was always busy troubleshooting studio problems or trying to make his own art, which was confirmed when she mustered the courage to invite him to an art opening, but he kindly turned her down due to, quote, too much to do. One day, the manager sent a group email to all the artists in the building concerning 2 clogged toilets. He advised everyone that they use the plunger that was stationed in every bathroom and or contact him immediately so he could help take care of the problem. That afternoon, she happened to be wearing quite a fetching outfit as she strolled by his office a few times in hopes of getting his attention. He barely glanced at her before returning to his paperwork or art project. Defeated, she started to feel sick to her stomach and ran to a bathroom stall. While sitting there, she was reminded of the one who got away, of the boy in 4th grade who'd occasionally tease her, made fun of her freckles that appeared on her alabaster skin during the summer when she forgot to wear sunblock. She remembered how in 7th grade, he would deliberately bump into her chest or sometimes ignore her on purpose. Lots of mixed signals, performative or not, it was his indifference that hurt her the most. She started to feel really ill as she sat on the toilet and remembered quite vividly graduation day. The day mixed signals snuck up from behind and put his firm hand on her shoulder, leaned in, gave her a soft kiss on the side of her mouth, lightly brushing her lips with his as he pulled away and wished her a great life. Encouraged her to stick with your art, it's beautiful, like you. She was stunned, didn't know what to say as he turned into a man and walked away, never to be seen or heard from again. And then it hit her. After sending the email, she stood by her studio door pretending to make art, but was really just waiting for the art studio manager to arrive. 5 minutes later, there was a knock on her door. He was polite, as he always was, and told her to not be embarrassed. It was human nature. And besides, the toilets were old and could use a serious upgrade. She led him to the clogged toilet and faulty plunger. She felt terrible about the situation, but secretly felt ecstatic to be talking to him, to be spending more quality time rather than waving hello or goodbye. Of course, she hadn't expected her first real conversation with him to be about diarrhea, but she didn't let that get in the way of progress. After plunging the toilet, he walked her back to her studio and thanked her for alerting him of the problem. She offered him coffee or tea, but he declined and needed to get back to work. He was always working. The next week, she walked by his office many, many times, wearing the most revealing of outfits, and he would lift his head, smile, and return to his work. His stupid fucking work. She felt queasy, abandoned, alone, and then it hit her. She pulled out the takeout menus in the studio kitchen and ordered a beef burrito with extra beans and jalapenos. Something hot to make it burn as it crawled into her intestines and sprinted toward her sphincter. This time she didn't email him, she walked directly to his office to ashamedly admit her offense. He tried to hide his dismay, But even the most perfect gentleman would betray a glint of disgust as they walked to the bathroom. The scene of the crime. This time, he showed her how to employ the plunger expertly as he pumped the brown, chunky water. She stood behind him like a student and smiled as they talked about the virtues and horrors of the digestive system. She was delighted to be talking to him instead of pining for his attention, but that only lasted for a few minutes. The next day, she ordered a quart of chicken chow fun and inhaled the oily broad noodles as they slid into her stomach, searching for an immediate exit. She made a half attempt to plunge the toilet, but left it in a way that would surely spark a group email and feigned her faux pas to the manager, who this time could hardly believe her. His bedroom eyes were clearly confounded, but he was impressed by her candid vulnerability. He cheered her on as she plunged, and they talked about anything and everything that wasn't about food and toilet. He felt bad for her irritable bowels and gave her his cell phone number in case of emergency. He had a studio to upkeep after all. The next day, she ordered a giant bowl of pork Penang with extra spicy Thai chili. But this time, she ate it while sitting on the toilet. She knew she would hardly be able to contain the food as she spooned it into her mouth and evacuated it at the same time. Once the toilet crowned, she picked up her phone and called the manager. When he arrived, he didn't expect to see her slumped in the corner farthest from the filled toilet. He asked her if she was okay. She didn't want her ruse to woo him with her poo to spoil what they had been forming. Suddenly she felt shy, protective, not sure what to say, how to answer. He saw that she was conflicted, nervous, and then it hit him. He realized what was happening. His work had distracted him, his art had blinded him, but now he was aware. So he reached through the dense fog of her colon-induced courtship and placed a firm hand on her shoulder and said, "Why don't you just open up?" The way he asked her, the way he looked at her, so nice, so tender, so safe, she opened up. That's a love story, folks. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hi. Hi. Okay, so first time sharing my work. This is a shorter one. Working title is "My Mom Worries I'm Too Soft Sometimes." Okay. I've always been very attached to my stuffed animals. Growing up, my mom would give them voices and personalities. I would fall asleep in a bed full of friends. My siblings and I would point to things and beg our mother to please make it talk to us. She had the superpower of creation, creating us, creating a character, creating a very real love between. But as a result, we all had a hard time parting with anything. Outgrown coats, broken toys, even old toothbrushes. Everything had a voice, had feelings, and I was responsible for all of them. Nightly, I was gripped with an intense feeling that something bad was going to happen to me, to my family. But luckily, I could prevent it by saying goodnight every night. To everyone, to everything, so I wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings. I'd name stuffed animals, family members, random items in the room until I ran out of ideas, ending with a good night to every living and non-living thing in this room, in case I missed someone. It took me a while to leave that one behind. But even now that I'm grown, it's hard not to notice the apple left by itself in the bowl, or the plush nobody bought because he's a little wonky, without feeling a deep sadness and a sense of guilt. Maybe I'm too soft. But maybe someone will be responsible for loving that in me the way I've been with many a soft thing before. Touch my velvety ears, my beaded eyes, the parts where my fabric is worn smooth and my stuffing is sparse. Sitting with my back to the bed frame, my belly exposed, just a living thing in this room, hoping someone will remember to name me, tell me something, keep me safe. So, good night, Sydney. Good night, Grace. Good night, Nikki. Good night, Russell. Good night, every living and non-living thing in this room.
I think the ocean is God, and that she doesn't love or hate. She destroys and births, befriends the sky and swallows the earth. I love her. Like that woman who married the Berlin Wall. But not really, because the wall is a man-molded, harsh tool. Probably no good at fucking. And the ocean is God. She would never segregate a city. She knows nothing of lines and hardness. I love her. More than anything and anyone, even the child I do not have, who will be named Ocean, after God herself. Thank you.
I'm Pete, I'm a poet. I have two shorter ones today, both sort of, I'm looking a little forward from spring. We're looking to like early summer, like the first sticky days are kind of what I'm looking at here. This first one is called Dawn Faded Air. You can start with. Something cool has come alive with the mosquitoes. Bland and flat on my tongue. This miserable coil. Contentment is frail, delicious in its mundanity. I don't fear the end anymore, just how we'll get there. The clovers, the little white flowers, the bear trap opens its claws to let us sleep. We dream and we eat. We dream and we eat. We kill. Forgetful and sycophantic, what they call striving, learning as if there is time. Orate beauty. Summer opens me back up, heat unfurling my arm petals. Thank you, that's the first one. And this one's a little happier. This is early offerings of summer. Before us, Turtle Pond. Mr. Spotted, splayed on his back, mouth to the brilliant, watery sky. Envy blossoms in my hands, rough against sunny rock. But you, my love, are smiling. Frank beauty of unrelenting time. Sunfish, perch, smallmouth bass, you say they feed on shiny minnows. Darting to and fro, we watch the children mimic them. To and fro and shrieking laughter. Wet shoes. You have become a presence in my left collarbone. Embedded in the marrow, I blink awake. My bed hollow, and somehow you are constant. Perched on the windowsill, resolute. Crackling grin, shining chest, bigger than the whole planet, beautiful swell in my stomach. Thank you.
It's like Happy Squirrels, but it's like kind of also sad.
Okay.
Like, you know, like Disney. It's by a poet, Arthur Goodridge. So I'm reading on his behalf, and I hope you all enjoy it. You'll gaze with amazement how she clops along. Clompity clomp in those new orthodic boats that help her. Arches shoot arrows in her feet. Did you know that he was Humpty Dumpty? Sat on the wall to have a great fall, wondering if his horsemen and women were his friends. My favorite color is blue, sky blue, then blue skies, then blues. O's of the folks, because they is the folks. But that pink scarf was nice. I remember when there weren't many squirrels around, but now they are plentiful. In the mornings, playing and gathering nuts. Their huge sparkles, eyes, and fluffy tails. Surrendering to the blood on the brain, drowning, disbelieving inside the boats, a master navigator. Visual images of young swans and doves, gracefully floating from the royal broken egg. Cosmopolitan lady, where are you? Helping old Mother Hubbard? Nursery rhymes are only useful when they prepare us to be Alice or her looking glass. So the Empress and her boats clomping, King Humpty on his wall, waiting for the fall. Inside his brain, flying in the blues, we're getting sick on this cold ocean voyage, being rescued by a blind pilot, doomed to crash. You'll gaze with amazement, all of this and more. Sticks and stones may break, but I wish I were a squirrel, with a huge sparkling eyes and a fluffy tail.
free to stick around, help yourselves, enjoy the rest of the night.